The more I practice, the luckier I get. It's a famous quote attributed to the golfer Gary Player. I'm Pete Bailey from Vox Coaching, and today I'd like to talk about practice and rehearsal. Now, it's evident for sports people that it's beneficial and necessary to practice all the time. You can't learn to swim from a book. So practice trumps theory, and it's very much the same in terms of communication. So I'd like us to consider today, what are the differences between rehearsal or practice and preparation? Now, preparation, to my mind, tends to focus largely on content, whereas rehearsal focuses not only on content, but it focuses on structuring content in real time and also on delivery. And that is absolutely crucial because the structure of the way we put ideas across reveals to an interview panel or an audience the ways we think, and the delivery indicates our levels of confidence. So the danger with preparation is that it tends to take place either in the head or on a laptop, and that there's no end to it. And so, as a result, it tends to increase anxiety. I should look this up, I should prepare that even more, how should I do this? Or, if I say this, they'll say that, I'll say this. And so, there's a danger that we get more nervous, whereas rehearsal, by the fact of us physically doing something, tends to release our anxiety and build our confidence. Now, if we're preparing a presentation or a keynote speech, the chances are we tend to spend 90% of our time on the content, on the slides, on preparing a script, and very little time on the delivery. Now, content, of course, is vital. You're a professional. But content is the baseline. Some time spent working on delivery will have a really disproportionate impact in terms of the ways that you come across and your audience or interview panel perceive you. So how do we rehearse? This is a thing that actors really know about. The danger is that rehearsal feels a bit embarrassing to do. But actually that's a virtue because it means that we get over this unwillingness. There's a few key principles about rehearsal. To rehearse, firstly, out loud. That's because our feelings and the way we say things and the length of sentences and the like, that's coming up if we do it out loud. Also, to rehearse one thing at a time. So if we try and do everything at once, the volume might be right, but then we think, the speed's wrong, or the speed's right, but the eye contact's wrong. If we take one variable at a time, we can really focus on that and work on that alone and let everything else go to pot. And that way, it's like an experiment. We have one variable. For a limited time, 5 or 10 minutes is fine. That means you will actually do it, and also you'll be focused while you're doing it. It will fit into your day, it's economical, and also once it's done, it's done. You don't have to worry about it or lose sleep about it after that. Especially in a low-risk situation. So not on the morning of the interview or the presentation, but instead, if it's low risk, it means that we can fail, we can take experiments, we can play around with it and be more adventurous in what we do. And the key principle is to rehearse for variety, not to fix things. And by that, I mean, if I'm preparing a speech, I'll do so out loud in every room of my flat. Front room, kitchen, garden, loo, everywhere. And that way, I'll have 8 different ways of doing it. And when I come to perform, it'll be different again. It'll be a 9th way. But it will draw on all those different ways of doing it, and I will be giving myself permission to keep it live or spontaneous. Practice makes perfect. And there's a great deal of truth in that. But even more, practice makes imperfect, which is even better. Then rather than striving for perfection or some ideal of a way I should do it, which I'll never live up to, which is impossible, instead, I recognize that it needs to be different every time because the audience is different, the event is different, the interview panel is different. And so allowing that spontaneity and difference to arise retains our authenticity, our passion, and our liveness. So, to summarize, do rehearse, and rehearse out loud, one thing at a time, for a limited time, in a low-risk situation, and particularly for variety, not to fix it.